Sustainability is living in a way that allows us and all living things to thrive in perpetuity. Global sustainability is a big, fat, hairy challenge, and there are a lot of us working on this problem, including myself. For decades, I designed and influenced green buildings, cities, campuses, communities. And yet I found that my own personal carbon footprint was little better than the average American carbon footprint. So following the mantra, you cannot manage what you don't measure, I calculated my carbon footprint as a baseline. It was 16 metric tons of carbon emissions just from my lifestyle every year. And again, that's little better than an average American. That's the equivalent of 4.5 planets of resources if everybody lived the way I did. And I'm telling you, I recycled like a fiend. I had super efficient everything, right? I'm still using 4.5 planets worth of resources. That's nuts, and it's not sustainable. So, a few years ago, I had an opportunity. I moved from Colorado, where I'd been living for 20 years, to the coastal South. Major cultural change from Boulder. I adjust quickly. I am resilient, right? I came here to teach and to inspire people to design buildings, cities, and communities in the South better than we have been designing them. And I love it. I had an opportunity to design and build my own home 2 years ago. And I want to tell you about this journey and some of the things that I did in my home that hopefully you might learn from. I set out to design a net zero energy home, and I'll tell you what that means. When I picked my lot, I picked a lot that's 25 feet above sea level. We know right now that the seas will rise 1 meter, regardless of any wonderful environmental action we take tomorrow. They will rise 1 meter, likely in the next 60 years, possibly in my lifetime, because I'm going to live a long time. I chose a lot in a walkable neighborhood. I don't have to drive my car to do a lot of errands. I go shopping on foot, on my bike. Everybody says, do you have a golf cart? I said, no, I have a bike. It's a wonderful neighborhood. I bought a lot with southern exposure because I knew I was going to install solar panels. That's part of every solution when it comes to a net zero building. So a net zero building means that the building uses no energy. I actually set out to design a net positive building. My house generates more energy than it uses. Within 12 years, by code, all new commercial buildings will have to be net zero energy. Did you know that? Wow. There's a lot of us in the industry paddling real fast. So to start with, I designed a tight house. And a tight house is an efficient house, especially in a hot, humid climate. Don't let anybody tell you your house has to breathe. That's yoga, people. You want a tight house. A tight house means no bugs. If it's airtight, it's bug tight. I have no bugs in my house. I have high performance windows. Don't cheap out on your windows. It is the most expensive thing in your construction. Know that going in and spend it because it's very important. They are your biggest point of vulnerability in your house. Get good ones. Mine are casement windows. They open and close with a tight seal. I purposefully did not use double hung windows because they slide. Any window or door that slides by nature will leak. If they were tight, they wouldn't slide. Aha, I heard that. My house is super insulated. By code in this region, you don't actually have to insulate a whole lot. If you build to code, you are building the worst possible building allowed by law. Please do better than code. Super insulate your house. Keep the heat on the side of the wall where it's supposed to stay. My house stays very cool in the summer. My air conditioning doesn't work very hard. I have an unvented, conditioned crawl space. Again, in a hot, humid climate, you want your building up off that damp ground. I personally would never build a house on a concrete slab. I don't want to be that close to the ground. This is a conditioned crawl space. It's dry. My house stays drier. I use a lot less energy. Do you see any bugs? No bugs. We don't have bugs in Colorado, so that was a big adjustment. I have automated controls for everything that I installed, by the way. When I walk into a room, my fans turn on. When I leave, they turn off. I have independent comfort zones in my house. 1 air conditioning system, 3 zones. I have ultimate control over every space in my house. I have high efficiency appliances. I have a magnetic induction stove. Everything's electric. Magnetic induction uses the least amount of energy of any cooking device you can use, and it's also the #1 choice of most chefs. I have absolute control over the temperature. And yes, I did install all my own cabinets. IKEA is an empowerer of women because we read instructions. I have low-flow fixtures, dual-flush toilets. I have shower heads that are low-flow, high-pressure shower heads. I don't compromise. I have great showers. I have a 1,000-gallon rainwater cistern in my backyard that captures my rainwater, and it feeds into my irrigation system from my organic garden. We get 55 inches of rain in this region every year. That's a lot of rain. But we still have a water crisis. How many of you knew that? We have saltwater inundation in the largest aquifer in North America because we irrigate too much. We are pulling water out of that aquifer faster than it can replace it, and all it can do is pull in water from the ocean. Stop irrigating. I live now in a light-filled musical home with art on the walls. I have very low energy bills. I pay $13 a month for my electricity. Yeah, cool. Do you know there's $5 trillion to be seen, realized, through efficiency and renewable energy in the next 10 years if all of us get on board? I'm getting my share. I pay $30 a month for water, and I power my compact, kick-ass Tesla from power generated off my roof from the sun, and it goes 0 to 60 in 3.3 seconds, and I can guarantee you it does that. So how do you show up and reduce your carbon footprint if you're not going to build a new house? Let's start with your diet. Your diet can account for up to 83% of your carbon footprint. Follow Michael Pollan. Eat food, make sure it's real, not too much, mostly plants. Check that box on your utility bill that says, I want 100% renewable energy. You want to start a revolution? If we all bought renewable energy, we'd change it. We'd change how South Carolina generates electricity. Better yet, find solar financing or solar lease and generate it on your roof. You will pay less per energy on day 1. Install a programmable thermostat. Cannot be said. You can buy aftermarket zoning products for your house. Zone your house so that you're not heating and cooling unused spaces. Don't heat and cool your empty rooms. You can add spectrally selective clear film to your existing windows. That's nanotechnology applied in a clear film, and it will reduce the heat gain in your house for up to 66%, depending on what kind of film you buy. It's worth it. It works. Get an energy audit. No-brainer. It will pay back in 3 months. Next time you buy a new car, and I know everybody here loves buying new cars, it's the culture here, look at electric cars. Every major manufacturer is offering new electric car lines. You can buy a Ford F-350 as an electric plug-in. How many knew that? Stop irrigating. Plant native species. You probably already have them. Turn off your irrigation and see what happens. They're fine. They've been living here for a long, long time without your irrigation system. Buy local. Build a local economy. Shop small every day. That's a polyxylon hammock. Here's my indigo scarf. Buy local. People ask me all the time, what little things can I do to reduce my carbon footprint? If you haven't figured it out, they're not little, they're big. We have to step up. We have to show up, step up, do better, reduce our carbon footprint. We have to live so that all living things thrive in perpetuity. Thank you very much.